Welcome to Unbreakable Mentality. We don't just chase success, we build the mindset that creates success. Imagine receiving the opportunity you've been praying for and then losing it before you make your first dollar. That was exactly what happened to Daniel. He finally had a laptop. He finally had a chance. But what happened next almost made him give up again. And this time, the decision he made would change his life forever. Daniel took the old laptop home and placed it carefully on the small wooden table beside his bed. His mother looked at it and smiled. "So, what will you do with it?" Daniel looked at the screen. "I don't know yet, Mama, but I know I didn't receive it just to watch movies." He began teaching himself graphic design, writing, digital marketing, and basic business skills. He struggled. Some nights, the laptop would freeze. Other nights, there was no electricity. Daniel would walk to a small business center just to charge the battery. But he kept learning. One afternoon, a small shop owner named Mr. Okoro walked into the business center. He needed a simple flyer for his new clothing business. Daniel heard him talking to the attendant. "I need someone who can design this for me." Daniel gathered courage. "Sir, I can do it." The man looked at him. "You?" Daniel nodded. "Yes, sir." "How much?" Daniel hesitated. He had never been paid for his work before. "Whatever you think is fair." The man laughed. "Okay, I'll give you 2 days." Daniel worked through the night. He designed the flyer, corrected it repeatedly, and finally delivered it. Mr. Okoro stared at the design. "This is good." Then he handed Daniel some money. Daniel looked at it. It wasn't much, but it was the first money he had ever earned from a skill he taught himself. He ran home. "Mama!" His mother came outside. Daniel held up the money. "I made this." She looked at the money. Then she looked at her son and began to cry. Not because the money was much, but because she knew what it represented. Hope. Daniel had discovered something powerful. He didn't need to wait for someone to rescue him. He could create value. And value could create income. But just when things started improving, Daniel received a phone call. It was Mr. Okoro. "Daniel, I need to talk to you." Daniel smiled. "Yes, sir. I showed your work to someone." Daniel's heart jumped. "Really?" "Yes. And he wants you to design something much bigger." Daniel couldn't believe it. "Sir, when do we start?" There was a long silence. "Tomorrow," Daniel smiled. But then Mr. Okoro added something that Daniel wasn't expecting. "The project is worth more money than you've ever made in your life." Daniel sat down. For the first time, he could see a way out. Let's pause here, because Daniel just discovered one of the most important principles of success. You don't always need more resources. Sometimes, you need to learn how to use the resources you already have. Daniel didn't have a modern office. He didn't have investors. He didn't have wealthy parents. He didn't have connections. He had an old laptop and he had determination. That's where many people make a mistake. They keep saying, "When I have money, I'll start. When I get the right opportunity, I'll begin. When someone helps me, I'll move forward." But successful people often begin with what is already in their hands. Your phone could become a business tool. Your knowledge could become a service. Your experience could become a product. Your story could become an inspiration to someone else. The question isn't always, "Mr. Okoro had a problem. What do I have?" Sometimes the better question is, "What can I create with what I have?" Daniel also learned another lesson. He stopped looking for jobs and started looking for problems he could solve. He needed a professional flyer. Daniel had a skill. He solved the problem, and money followed the value he created. That's an important business principle. People don't pay you simply because you need money. They pay you because you provide value. Learn. If you want your income to grow, increase the value you can provide. But now, improve. Practice. Solve bigger problems. Become better. And don't be ashamed to start small. Daniel's first payment was small, but his first payment wasn't the goal. It was proof. Proof that his skills could create value. Proof that his circumstances were not permanent. Proof that he could build something from nothing. If you're currently struggling financially or trying to build something from nothing, start with these 4 steps. 1. Identify what you already have. Don't focus only on what you lack. Ask yourself, what skill, knowledge, experience, connection, or resource do I already have? Start there. 2. Learn one valuable skill. Don't try to learn everything. Choose one skill that can solve a real problem. Then become exceptionally good at it. 3. Solve problems. Look around you. What are people struggling with? What do businesses need? What can you make easier? That is where opportunities hide. 4. Start before you feel ready. Daniel wasn't an expert. He simply knew enough to solve one small problem. Your first attempt may not be perfect. Do it anyway. Your first customer may not pay much. Serve them anyway. Your beginning may look small. Keep going anyway. Because every great business, every great career, and every great success story begins somewhere. Daniel had started with almost nothing. Someone was offering him the biggest project he had ever seen. The money could change his family's life. The opportunity could finally take him out of poverty. But there was one problem. Keep building. Daniel had never handled a project that big before. And when he opened the project details, his hands began to shake. The project was far beyond anything he had ever done. He had 2 choices: walk away or take the biggest risk of his life. Daniel stared at the screen. Then he whispered, "I've come too far to quit now." And that decision would lead to the biggest test of his life. To be continued in episode 4. Now I want to ask you, what is one skill you can start developing today that could change your future? Write it in the comments. And if you're building your life from the ground up, remember this: you don't need to have everything. You just need to start with something. Subscribe to Unbreakable Mentality, where we don't just chase success, we build the mindset that creates success. I'm Lady Siska Dominic. Keep learning, keep believing, and whatever happens, never quit.